Welcome to Unfiltered and Unstoppable with Rob Romesburg. Real strategies for real advisors, a podcast that dives into what it takes to scale a thriving financial practice. Each week, we'll discuss actionable strategies, tools, and insights to keep you ahead in today's financial landscape. From innovative products and powerful marketing tactics, you'll get unfiltered truth and unstoppable strategies. Let's get started by building your unstoppable financial practice today.
Welcome back to Unfiltered and Unstoppable. I am your host, Rob Romesburg. Looking forward to spending some time with everyone today. And as always, thank you for taking time out of your business to work on your business. Have you ever wondered what happens if AI gets so good that clients don't need financial advisors anymore? And you know what? I see it, I hear it, and you hear all the doomsdays out there that in 3 years that everyone will be without a job, and we're seeing all the headlines that right now AI can build financial plans, analyze investment portfolios, compare insurance products. They're answering all of my clients' retirement questions. Not only that, but it's writing emails and building marketing campaigns, and kind of cool actually. We could summarize tax strategies in seconds. And yes, it's all incredible. It is. And if we're being honest, it's also a little intimidating. I agree with that. However, many advisors are embracing it. Many are afraid of it. And then there are some out there that are just pretending like it doesn't exist at all, which is, I guess, all right. And I don't think any of those are exactly the right response. I know that AI is not replacing great advisors. Um, it is, however, exposing average ones. And that's a very important distinction, by the way. What we're going to be discussing today isn't necessarily about technology. It's going to be definitely about value, about understanding why your clients hired you in the first place. Because if we don't have a clear picture of that, meaning I don't truly understand why folks hire me, you're going. That's that's the individual that is going to spend the next decade competing with technology. However, if we truly understand why our clients hired us, technology is going to be one of the greatest opportunities that our profession has ever seen. So I want you to imagine something. Imagine walking into your office tomorrow morning. Uh, every email's already been drafted. Your meeting prep is finished. Your client notes have already been summarized. Your follow-up tasks have been organized. Your marketing content is for the month is sitting in your inbox. Um, any reports that you have outstanding, they've already been analyzed. Your review packets are prepared. Your calendar is optimized, meaning it's rocking and rolling. Let me ask you, if that were already all done for you, how would you spend the 8 hours that day? That's the question. Because soon, very soon, technology is going to be able to give you all of that and then some at your fingertips. There are advisors already taking advantage of that. It's a little clunky and it takes a little work to get it done, but there are advisors doing it. Very soon, it's going to be so simple. And the thing is that there's nothing more valuable, there's nothing more expensive than time. And the advisors who are thriving or who will thrive, they're not the ones that are going to simply know how to just use AI. That more importantly, they're going to know what to do with the time that they got back that AI gave them. And that's what today's conversation is really about. And what's interesting is history has a funny way of repeating itself because technology over the years has definitely created fear, right? When calculators became common, teachers were worried that students would never learn math. Um, when Excel came out, people were like, "Oh, accountants are gone." When online banking arrived, it was like, "Oh, banking's is done. There won't be any banks anymore." Now, I will say that branches are dwindling, but definitely that they are still here. I remember when TurboTax came out, everybody's like, "Oh, CPAs are done; they're obsolete." Now, did those industries change? Absolutely, absolutely, uh, for the better, in my opinion. Did all the professionals disappear within those industries? No, not even close. That allowed some of the best accountants to become advisors. The best bankers actually then were really able to manage relationships. Um, the best doctors didn't lose patients simply because WebMD existed. Now, that's one of the top ones I hear about AI. Oh, doctors are going to go away. I don't know about that. Because here's the thing, when people show up to the doctor, it's after reading something online. The joke that I always make is any time that I think I have something, I get on the Google machine, I start looking, and I get down this rabbit hole, I get down that rabbit hole, and then all of a sudden I have self-diagnosed myself that I only have 4 months to live. Because that's what happens with the rabbit holes. That's what happens with the Google machine. So they're not going to show up to the doctor in this example looking for more information, so to speak. What they're really looking for is actual clarification, interpretation, reassurance, confidence. And that's exactly the same thing with a financial advisor. There's no difference there. Your clients are already Googling almost anything. They can watch all of the YouTube videos, read all of the articles, listen to all the podcasts, get with Chat GPT, run all those retirement calculators that are out there, download 92 investment apps. And guess what? Information has never been more accessible. Yet our business is booming. People are hiring more advisors than ever. Why is that? Because information is not the end product, right? Confidence is. That's the mindset. That's the shift. Your clients aren't necessarily paying you to know things. Obviously, they want you to know. They want you to be intelligent. They're paying you to help them make decisions, the right decisions. Those are two totally different jobs. There's a conversation that I had that I'll never forget. Several years ago, I was speaking with one of my advisors after a client meeting, and that client had just inherited a significant amount of money. Now, from the outside, looked like a wonderful situation, right? And however, after the meeting, the advisor called me and he said something that I'll never forget. He said, "You know what, Rob? We didn't talk about investments today." Okay. "Well, well, what did you guys discuss?" And he goes, "We just cried." And he goes, "That was it. We talked about the loss of his father, about the family, the future, guilt, guilt with the relationship with his father, about making sure that we're making wise decisions. We want to honor my father's legacy. We don't want to make any mistakes here." Now, eventually, obviously, they did discuss financial planning, but that's not why that meeting mattered, right? The meeting mattered because a human being needed another human being, someone who really listens, someone who slowed the conversation down, someone that asked questions to really understand what was going on, someone that actually understood that the first problem there wasn't financial, it was all emotional. Yeah, AI can explain inheritance tax rules. However, it's not going to comfort you while you grieve. Yes, it can summarize estate planning strategies. However, it cannot truly recognize the look on someone's face that says, "You know what? I can tell that you're terrified of making the wrong decision." This is behavioral coaching. This is emotional intelligence. This is leadership. And now more than ever, because of technology, those skills are dramatically more valuable than they ever have been. Not less. And Unfortunately, I think too many advisors accidentally, if you will, define their value too narrowly. They think I'm a retirement planner, I'm an investment advisor, I'm a wealth manager. Sure, maybe, but you're definitely something much much bigger. You are a decision coach. You are helping people make decisions that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. Should they retire? When should they claim Social Security? Should they sell that business? Should they downsize? How can I help my grandchildren? Should I help my grandchildren? Can I take on more risk? Oh my gosh, I think I should take less risk. Should I convert to that Roth IRA? Man, I really want to retire, but should I retire? Listen, those aren't really investment questions. Those are life questions, right? And what's fascinating about all of that, the higher the emotional stakes, the less we want another website, right? The more I want another human being, more specifically, a human being that I can trust. So if you think about your own life, if something truly important happens in your life, did you just immediately just say, "Hey, I just need another article and that'll help me solve this"? Or more importantly, maybe once you found that article, did you call someone that you trusted? And that's what your clients are doing too. Obviously, technology is the smartest tool in the room, but trust and human companionship, human relationship will always, always, and I say this with all of the confidence in the world, be the most valuable asset in the room. So if you are consistently building your business around trust instead of transactions, you will never, ever have to worry about AI replacing you. Because I am certain there are a few, like your engineer types and your eager beavers, but I am certain 99% of your clients don't remember spreadsheets or the plan or the report. What they remember is how you made them feel. More specifically, how you made them feel during one of the biggest decisions that they've ever had to make in their life. So let's play a game real quick. If I asked you, what's the most valuable skill a financial advisor can develop over the next 10 years? What do you think your answer would be? Is it investment management, tax planning, estate planning, maximizing retirement income? Sure, all incredibly important, but those aren't the answer. The highest skill set that we can all have, especially in our industry, is behavioral coaching. So I want you to think about this. When markets are climbing, every everybody feels like they're the best investor. Every advisor says, "I earned my client this." And I get it. I understand there's a great deal of work behind that, but it's easy to stay disciplined when our account balances are growing, right? The real test, the real test of your relationship is when uncertainty shows up. When the market drops, when interest rates change, when inflation spikes, all of a sudden the headlines are negative, and then this is fact, not opinion. All of a sudden logic gives way to emotion. All of a sudden fear starts making decisions, not discipline, not responsible decisions. Now, this is where you, as a great advisor, you separate yourself. Not because all of a sudden I've got the best investment portfolio or different products, but because you know how to manage relationships, coach people through uncertainty, through difficulty. You know, I often say this that the greatest value an advisor can provide is helping clients avoid making expensive emotional decisions. The best advice most of the time that you could give someone is convincing someone not to do something, meaning not to panic, not to sell, definitely not to chase performance, not to follow that latest headline. These conversations, these conversations don't show up on a performance report, but they will have a tremendous impact on the family's financial future, more than any investment recommendation ever could. This is behavioral coaching. All of that is exactly what AI cannot replace. What are the biggest differences between an average advisor and an exceptional advisor is the quality of questions that they ask. So AI is built to provide answers, right? But elite advisors are known for asking better questions, great questions, phenomenal questions. Let's think about how different these conversations sound, okay? Instead of asking, "Are you comfortable with risk?" Try asking, "Hey, when the market dropped last time, what worried you most about that?" Instead of asking, "Would you like to retire at 65?" Ask this, "What does a great retirement actually look like for you?" Don't ask, "Do you have long-term care?" Ask, "Who would you never want to become a burden to?" Those are major differences. One is gathering information, one is gathering data, the other one is uncovering emotion. Emotion drives decision, as I say time and time and time again throughout this podcast, not spreadsheets. So, a coaching framework that I'd really like for you to remember is whenever a client brings you a question, pause before answering. Instead, ask yourself these four questions. And it's just simply the four C's of coaching. So, first of all, curiosity. What haven't I discovered yet about this question, meaning about this client? Concern. What's their real fear behind this question? Clarity. What decisions are they actually trying to make here? And then finally, the fourth C is confidence. This is a big one. It's the greatest one. How do I actually help them leave today's meeting feeling more confident than when they arrived? This framework, this framework alone will completely transform your client meetings. Because once again, like I've already said, your clients will rarely remember every recommendation that you made. They are absolutely going to remember how you made them feel after talking with you. On the way home, they're gonna talk about it in the car for sure. So, one of the biggest mistakes that I see today is advisors making right now is trying to prove that they're smarter than AI. I don't know if you've experienced that or seen that. Don't. That's the wrong game. Technology is always going to calculate faster. It will always summarize faster, research faster, organize information faster. Trying to beat AI at tasks like that is going to be like trying to outrun a race car. Instead, what you want to do is compete where technology doesn't have an advantage at all. Become that advisor that they can't imagine replacing, meaning know their family, know the names of their children, know when they become grandparents, understand what hobbies they're passionate about, understand what charities matter to them and why, know their dreams, obviously know their fears, uh, get to know the promises that they made to their spouse. Yeah, technology can organize that information, but only you can build a relationship around that. And I've always believed something really simple. People don't refer financial strategies, right? They refer experiences. And what I mean by that is nobody's going to dinner with their spouse and says, it- or with any of their friends or family, and or say anything along the lines of, you know what, you got to meet with my financial advisor because he uses this incredible software. That that's a part of it, but that's not why they have to meet with you. They say something along the lines of, "Hey, you know what? You've got to meet my advisor because when my husband Frank passed away, she was there for us, or she really helped us retire with confidence, or she and her firm, they have become like family to us. This is what gets shared. This is why people refer you. And this is what's going to build an extraordinary business. And so if we can get practical here, this is where many firms are missing opportunities. So AI shouldn't make you work faster. What it will change is what you work on, right? So if you could reclaim 5 hours every week, what would you do with them? What should you do with them? Should you answer more emails? No. Should you be spending more time creating PowerPoint presentations? Definitely not. Instead, let's use those hours to truly become the CEO of your business, meaning how to recruit better people, really coaching your team, intentionally focusing on improving your client experience. We just did a podcast on that. Creating educational content, and definitely intentionally building a referral system. Find ways to document your processes with technology. Record more videos. Spend more time with centers of influence. Definitely, let's develop the next generation of advisors. These are what we're talking about as leadership activities. And guess what? Leadership doesn't scale simply because you work harder. Leadership scales because you actually build systems, people that continue creating value without you holding their hand and depending on you every moment of the day. So I want you to write this challenge down. Ask yourself this question every Friday afternoon. And this question is: did AI help me to become more productive this week? And did it help me to become more valuable? So, productivity helps you finish today's work, value helps you to build tomorrow's business. So, the advisors that embrace this mindset aren't just going to, quote, survive the AI revolution. They are going to be the ones leading it. And you know what? I want to make a prediction. And the prediction is 5 years from now, almost every advisory firm is going to have access to incredible AI. But, and once again, the technology itself is not going to be the competitive advantage. It'll be just like, I have email or Zoom or CRM. Everybody has that today, right? That's the way AI will be in 5 years. So if everybody has access to the same technology, what's actually going to separate that firm and make sure that I don't plateau? What will separate it is your leadership, your culture, your execution, your client experience. This is where the opportunity lies. And I spend my days talking with financial advisors all across the country. Some are solo advisors, some manage teams of 20, some manage hundreds of millions of dollars. One of our advisors knocking on the door of 500 million. Some are just getting started. But regardless of their size, the firms that are experiencing the most sustainable growth, they have something in common. They've stopped asking things like, how can I get more done? Instead, they're asking, how can we as the firm become more valuable? That's an executive question, because average businesses focus just on activity. Activity is important, but they just focus on that alone. True executive leaders focus on outcomes, right? So the average business asks, how many appointments did we have this week? Again, you got to know that, but that's all that they're asking. The executive, the true executive, is asking, how many lives did we improve? So as opposed to saying, how many marketing pieces did we send out? You're asking, did our message actually connect with the people we want to serve? How can I reinvest my 30 minutes this week? This is the difference. AI is giving you that additional capacity today. Now, it's your leadership that will determine whether or not that capacity creates growth. So let me leave you here with three stories, not because they're dramatic, but because they happen every single day. You come across the nervous retiree. So you got a couple, they're 64 years old, they've worked their entire lives. They want to retire in the next 6 months. Financially, they're ready. Every spreadsheet out there says they can retire. Every calculator agrees. Every projection looks solid, but they keep postponing the decision. Why is that? Obviously, this is not a math problem. This is an identity problem. For 40 years, they've introduced themselves by what they do. Now they're wondering, who am I if I stop working? AI can show them the probability. It can calculate all the withdrawals and estimate the Social Security benefits. However, it can't look across the table and say, you know what? It's okay to feel uncertain. Almost everyone does. I've been helping people retire for over 20 years. You are ready. Do it. Pull the trigger. That's what a trusted advisor does. Next scenario is the market drop. So, totally different set of clients. Market just drops. News everywhere is going nuts. It's filled with fear, obviously. Their friends are calling. Oh my God, the TV is predicting disaster. Clients log in their account. They see red. They're panicked. Guess what their first instinct is oh my gosh, we got to sell everything. And within seconds, AI is explaining what happened. It's summarizing the history. And you know what? We can create some charts with AI talking about previous recoveries. Guess what? That client's still going to reach for the phone, not because they need more information, but because they need reassurance. They need perspective. They need someone who truly knows them, someone that actually not only understands their goals that they established or knows the goals that they established, but truly understands the goals. So someone who says, "Hey, you know what, Jim and Lydia, remember why we built this plan the way we did?" That conversation right there changes everything. And then the next situation is the family meeting. We've got three generations sitting around the table right here: parents, adult children, grandchildren. We're discussing legacy planning. This isn't about money anymore. It's about values. For example, what do we want our family to stand for? How do we prepare our children? How do we transfer wisdom along with wealth? Once again, tech can organize the documents, it can summarize all the estate plans, it can draft all of our meeting notes, but it's not going to be able to truly facilitate the difficult family conversations. Because think about it, we've got a lot of dynamics here. It's not going to be able to actually read the room. It's not going to be able to recognize that Susie, our daughter over here, she hasn't spoken yet. And it's not going to be able to gently invite her to be a part of that discussion. And it's also not going to be able to sense with a sensitive voice, see that dad is clearly uncomfortable over here talking about his mortality. So with your leadership, you have to have emotional intelligence. AI doesn't have that. And this is where the extraordinary advisor creates extraordinary value. That's what we're talking about. So my challenge to you, to every advisor listening right now, stop asking, is AI going to replace me? Start asking, what should AI replace so I can become even more valuable? Totally different questions. Yeah, AI can draft your emails, great. Summarize client meetings, fantastic. Yes, let's get it to organize your CRM. And let's make sure it helps you to create educational content. Absolutely. Let's use it like that. Let's leverage it. Let's learn it. But don't stop there. Take every hour that AI has given you back and reinvest it where you have the greatest return. Spend another hour with your family. Coach that younger advisor. Work on your business, meaning improving your onboarding processes, strengthening your annual reviews. Call clients just to check in. Write handwritten thank you notes. Build additional relationships. The advisor who becomes irreplaceable won't be the one that knows the most prompts for sure. They'll be the ones that know their clients the best. This is the future that I'm excited about. Not fewer advisors, better advisors. Not busier firms, smarter firms. And we're not talking about technology replacing people now, are we? We're talking about technology freeing people to actually become more human. So, if today's conversation is something you would like to take further, I want to make sure you go out and you request our AI implementation blueprint. And you can head out to our website, which is simply evolvewithgradient.com backslash ignite team. Once again, evolvewithgradient.com backslash ignite team. Request the advisor implementation blueprint. So that this is a framework to make sure that you build a stronger advisory business. So the first thing you're going to get is an advisor value matrix. So this matrix is going to tell you what can be automated, which ones should remain personal. Then we're going to have a time audit showing you exactly how to spend time on activities that AI will eliminate from you. So you can focus on leadership. And then we're going to have an awesome behavioral coaching conversation, meaning these are a collection of questions designed to help you create deeper, more meaningful conversations. So we're building trust instead of just delivering information, right? And then you're going to see a roadmap there to help you transition from thinking like just a producer to leading like a CEO of a scalable advisory firm. The reason why this matters is because the firms that thrive over the next decade, once again, they're not going to be just using better technology. They're going to be building better businesses. Technology is just the tool. Leadership is your advantage. If that's the business you're trying to build, be sure to request this tool. You're going to be able to find these resources incredibly valuable. And before we wrap up today, I want to say something that I hope every financial advisor is listening and truly hearing. Thank you. Thank you for serving your communities. Thank you for helping families navigate the biggest financial decisions they'll ever make. Thank you for sitting across the table from people who are scared, uncertain, grieving, excited, hopeful, sometimes even completely overwhelmed. Thank you for helping that business owner prepare for retirement. Thank you for helping parents to prepare for college. Thank you for helping widows to regain confidence. And ultimately, thank you for helping retirees sleep better at night. These aren't the moments that make headlines, right? But they change lives. Never lose sight of that. Technology is always going to evolve, products will evolve, markets will evolve, but trust, compassion, judgment, leadership, behavioral coaching, like we've been talking about here, that's what really matters. That's what will always remain human. If you enjoyed today's episode, hey, hit that like button, follow, subscribe so you never miss future conversations like that. Be sure to share this with your firm. Don't just send it to another advisor. Share it with your client service team, your operations staff, your administrative professionals, because AI is not going to just change one role. It's changing every role and how they create value. So if everyone within your organization just stops asking, how can AI help me work faster? And actually started asking a question of, how can AI help me to serve people better? This is the conversation that we want you to have with your firm. This is the conversation that will transform your business. This is how we positively impact the culture. This is how you build exceptional client experiences. And ultimately, this is how the firms become the one that everyone else is trying to catch. So, thanks again for spending a part of your day with me. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a part of your journey. Until next time, keep learning, keep leading, keep serving, and keep building a business that's impossible to replace. I'll see you on the next episode. And as always, thank you for what you do.
The opinions herein may be from personal experience and may not necessarily be those of the Gradient Financial Group, its employees, or affiliates. Any results, topics, or outcomes are for informational purposes only. Financial professional use only. Rob Romesburg does not render tax, legal, or accounting advice and is not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any government agency.